went to heaven. They were playing all my favorite songs. I saw at least 1,000 golden fiddles playing western swing all night long. I dreamed I saw a band of angels singing songs to our Savior and our King. There were fiddles, there were harps, mandolins and steel guitars. The only music there was western swing. I even saw Bob Wills and Tommy Duncan. Watched them play and sing with angels' wings. What a way to worship God forever. A jamboree of good old western swing. On the guitar, Leon McAuliffe playing on the steel. I looked for Milton Brown, he was nowhere to be found. I heard he was asleep at the wheel. I even saw Bob Wills and Tommy Duncan. Watched them play and sing with angels' wings. What a way to worship God forever. Jamboree of good old western swing.
Well, hey there. Welcome to Fort Worth Musical Moments. How about that rousing introduction this morning? If that doesn't
wake you up, nothing will.
Wow, I tell you what. Yeah, that's better than the coffee this morning.
I think I know the old boy that sang that song, I believe.
Very good.
Yeah, that old boy, I think when he was born, Bob Wills was still actively touring. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a song, though, that old Bob would be proud of. That really is in the truest sense of the word cowboy jazz right there.
Well, I'm proud. In the words of Jerry Jones, I'm just so proud that that song is kind of the unofficial or maybe the official theme song, along with They Put the Western into Western Swing, because that's kind of a little bit of a a biographical fantasy type thing where you go to heaven and I used to say I'd love to see those guys, but we need to add one more player in there at the pearly gates. It should be Louis Armstrong, don't y'all think?
Oh yeah, Louis would be proud of that song too. That had a definite New Orleans air about it.
Well, that was Kurt Riles' idea to add those Dixieland horn guys. Those guys played with Lyle Lovett, and Kurt knew him, and he called him up in spur of the moment, and within an hour's time had him in the studio. So anyway, but let's welcome our guest.
Yeah, we got the Cowtown Birthplace of Western Swing Festival happening next week in Fort Worth, Texas at Historic National Hall. And our special guest today is the organizer of that event. He's been working feverishly since the last one ended last year, probably before that even. And we want to welcome in Mike Markwardt. Mike, welcome in.
Thank you, Brent. Thank you, Steve. Brent, we're real excited to have you kick off the MC duties on the first day of the festival.
And I can't wait. It is going to be phenomenal. It'll be my first time there, and I've heard so much about it. Cannot wait to get my boots on the ground there at National Hall.
Yes, no problem.
You know, I in our preview that you and I cut yesterday and put out there, I said 12 bands, and I was off by, I think we've got, 13 bands actually.
Yeah, if you counted every single band, it's actually 14 bands. It's incredible, all the activity we've got going. But and then we've got so many guest artists that sing with these bands. It's a multitude of talent that's going to be assembled in Fort Worth next week. And we just love to celebrate the history. It's all about the history, this festival. We're celebrating this year the 92nd anniversary of the birth of Western Swing, which all happened in Fort Worth in 1931 when Bob Wills met Milton Brown. And together they formed this great fusion of music: country blues, jazz, polka, Mexican influences, mariachi sounds, the German, Czech polkas that came from Europe, Scottish, Irish frontier fiddle, all of that combined together. And they just put a good dance beat behind every song they did and basically uplifted the folks out of the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. It couldn't have happened at a more needed time in America's history.
Absolutely. Well, how exciting is it to you that even though musical styles have evolved so much since that time, this music is still being preserved and people still find value in it?
Yeah, it's amazing how the music has lived on now for this long, and is really, I think, the catalyst of the first resurgence of Western Swing. Probably was a combination of Merle Haggard's tribute album to Bob Wills in 1970, followed shortly after with the fabulous recording of For the Last Time, Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys. That was the seminal, legendary album that was recorded in 1973. And I like to say, in the past couple of years since this festival started, and with the launch of this film, The Birth and History of Western Swing, that we're in a second resurgence of this Western Swing music. The film, gosh, we traveled to 10 different cities, interviewed 30 different stars, both historians and music stars, to basically chronicle the history of this music. And those that have not seen the film, we're going to be screening it at the festival, a final cut version. And it really is a quintessential story of the music. And we're hoping to eventually get distribution on PBS and Netflix or Amazon eventually. So
now, is it a final cut or a final cut?
It could be a final cut. We're in the stages of licensing all the music and clips and everything in it right now. But
I have a feeling, Brent, that you and I are going to have to drag Mike away from the editing room eventually and say, Mike, it's done. But, you know, as in any creative endeavor, you think, oh, it's finished. And then the next day you look at it and go, well, maybe not. You know, there's always tweaking to be done.
On to the sequel, the next generation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mike, you mentioned Merle Haggard and how important, excuse me, he was in resurrecting this music through I think he did that album tribute to the best damn fiddle player in the world, Bob Wilson's Texas Playboys, and he did a fabulous, note by note job on that. But there's another group of guys that are just as instrumental, maybe even more, at keeping Western Swing maybe alive all these years, and that's Asleep at the Wheel, Ray Benson and those guys. And the cool thing about those two guys that I just mentioned, you've got direct lineage to those two groups in some performers that are going to be here in Fort Worth playing with various groups, including Paul Anastasio, who played fiddle for Merle Haggard. And you see him in all those videos. master fiddle player who trained under the great Joe Venuti, which that's one of the most fascinating stories in the film of the many stories that are in there. And of course, Paul Anastasio, the way he's so animated, the way he tells his story. And you also have Sleep at the Wheels fiddle player, Katie Shore, who's going to be performing, right?
That's right. Katie Shore is a special guest of the Bob Wills Texas Playboys under the direction of Jason Roberts. And of course, Jason and Katie both played for a number of years with Asleep at the Wheel. So it's going to be really, really special. We start off on Thursday with Chuck Cusimano. Billy Bowles calls him Hallmark Chuck, and he is fabulous. What a songwriter.
One of the greatest songwriters and one of the greatest guys ever. Yeah,
great singer. His voice sounds a lot like Merle Haggard, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and he has prolifically written so many great songs that a lot of people have recorded. And then we're following him up with the Arkansas's only Western swing band. I like to say they're the best band in Arkansas because they're the only band. No, just kidding. But it's old Robert Houston and Western Swing Rules. Fabulous band. We had a film screening up in Fort Smith here a couple of months ago, and his band played after the screening, and it was a great night.
Mike, Robert Houston may know more than you do about the history of Western swing. You just ask him. You just ask him.
No. Well, Robert and I have healthy arguments all the time about who did what in the history of Western swing. He knows his stuff, no doubt. Yeah. And then following Robert will be yours truly, Steve. You're going to lead your A-list swing band out of Fort Worth and Nashville, a combination of Cowtown and Nashville. And old Kurt Ryle, your partner in crime, he has helped you put together one hell of a good band, along with Shane McCauley and a few others. And can't wait to hear that band. You've got so many wonderful guest singers. I think you've got Miss Kathy Jewell, our KSSL link. She's written and recorded a new album that has been recently released. And then you've got Miss Carrie Romero, who's got a wonderful voice, and followed by Eric Diamond. And so I can't wait to hear your band. And then topping off the evening, Thursday night, is the great crown prince of Western swing, Jody Nix and the Texas Cowboys. And we're going to be celebrating something special that night. We're celebrating the 50th anniversary of that great album for the last time, Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys. Jody's the only living person from that recording studio, Summit Burnett Studios in Dallas. It was recorded in early December 1973. So we're going to be awarding something to Jody halfway through his performance. And then Friday, we've got, we start off with the Stockyards tour in the morning. The buses will be arriving National Hall at 9:45 in the morning, and it'll be wheels up at 10 o'clock to the historic Fort Worth Stockyards, where Miss Devon and the Outlaw will greet the guests as they exit the buses right there in front of the Red Steagle statue in front of Cowtown Coliseum, singing some good old cowgirl and cowboy music on the street there. Then everyone will have plenty of time to do some shopping in that really exclusive new Mule Alley area that's got all this Western culture shopping. That'll be followed by the Herd Cattle Drive at 11:30. And at about 11:50, we'll make our way over to the Second Rodeo Brewing Saloon, where we have the Lake Travis Fiddlers from Austin, Texas, this group of high school kids that a lot of them have been trained by the greats in Austin, like Ray Benson, Alana James, Katie Shore, Jason Roberts. All these great stars have worked with this Lake Travis Fiddlers, a group, through the years, and Miss Anna Macias heads them up, and they're going to be entertaining us for a luncheon dance. The buses will take us back to National Hall at 2 o'clock for the afternoon evening affair, with starting off with the great Western Flyers, Joey McKenzie. He's probably the greatest living rhythm guitarist on the planet, and in his band may be one of the best fiddlers on the planet in Ridge Roberts. He's got Matthew on upright bass, and their special guest guitarist and singer Red Volkart is in that band. They're just phenomenal string band. They play it the real old-fashioned way, kind of the Milton Brown way, purely string band music. There's not a lot of electric sound in their music, but it's very traditional Western swing. Then following them will be the great Kelly Spinks in Miles of Texas. He is a crowd favorite. Everybody loves Kelly, and his sweet wife Susan will be there to cheer him on. Then we've got topping off the evening, one of the biggest draws of our entire festival, everybody loves, is the great Jake Hooker and the Outsiders, featuring his daddy with his rich baritone voice, Tommy Hooker, singing with that band. So that'll be a great evening. Let's see. Now, Saturday, what a full day. We've got 10 a.m. in the morning. We open the doors for a 10:30 a.m. screening of that final cut of the film, The Birth and History of Western Swing. Followed by that will be a Q&A session with Mr. Barry Corbin, one of the stars of the film. We're going to have a special surprise guest join him in that Q&A. I'm not at liberty to disclose that, but I think everybody's going to be real excited to see that surprise guest. Then we have Mariachi Escuelas de Plata, which is Northside High School, Fort Worth Northside High School's big band that plays mariachi traditional music, but they also play a Bob Wills medley of tunes in their performance. And, you know, mariachi is one of the roots to Western swing, so that's why we wanted to show them. They are award-winning. They've won all kinds of awards across the country, and we'll follow that up with the great J.D. Barham in cow jazz with his guest performers Greg Gibbs, Jimmy Burson, Jenny Mack, and Floyd Domino. What a setup that is. I like to call J.D. Barham like another Bob Wills. He prances, dances, and sings and hollers on stage just like the man himself, Bob. And then the next band up will be Billy Mata and the Texas Tradition. He will also have Floyd Domino in his band. He is such a fabulous singer, one of the best crooners we have in this industry. Then the great Bob Wills Texas Playboys. They are the preeminent Western swing band in the world right now, led by Jason Roberts, and his special guest will be Miss Katie Shore. And then to top the evening off at 10 o'clock, there's been a mad frenzy, Steve, Brent, of ticket sales. I've got people just calling me left and right to get tickets. We want to come see him. We want to come see him. And it's the great Drake Milligan. He's only 24 years of age, but he's an old soul in a young body. He loves Western swing and traditional country music, and he's going to bring his brand of it to National Hall and just rock the building the last 2 hours of our festival.
And Drake was on recently on America's Got Talent, right?
That's right. He got third place on that, and really, in many people's minds, he was the best. He was number one, but he took that. He also starred in the young Elvis, the high school age Elvis. He played the part of Elvis Presley, a young Elvis Presley, when he was right out of high school. I think he was 18 years old. And it was a 12-part series show on CMT, Country Music Television, back, 5 years ago. So that started his fame as an actor. And then, of course, now he's got just coming out with his second album. Great original music, traditional country and Western swing. And the crowds, I think, are going to love him. He is so electric on stage.
You know, and Drake plays big arenas, huge venues. So you happened to meet him at a function here locally, I believe.
Yeah, I met him at an unplugged event at Colonial Country Club. I think the title of the event was Bringing the Bluebird to Fort Worth. And the original songwriter, I think his name is Jim Beavers, I want to say. He's a big Nashville songwriter. He's from Fort Worth, and has a tie or connection to Colonial Country Club. So he brought with him Drake Milligan. And gosh, Drake was just phenomenal in that kind of setting. I couldn't believe how mature he was when he was on stage talking mostly and singing, but it's like he's been around this business for 40 years. You know, he's really a talented young man.
So we're fortunate to have him. Normally, you know, who knows whether he would play something like this, but I think I would imagine from what you told me, he loves Western swing, and that appealed to him, and plus he loves his hometown of Fort Worth too. So
yes. And we're going to have great food at National Hall. I think Thursday's Italian night, Friday is Czech German night, Saturday is Texas barbecue, and he's also going to have sandwiches for sale. And the drinks, the beer and wine there and the mixed drinks and cocktails there at National Hall are very affordably priced. It's like 1980s pricing. It's really a good deal for our patrons. We couldn't have found a better place. I just wish it was slightly bigger, because we're filled to the rafters with 515 people per day there at National Hall, and just totally sold out.
That's a good position to be in.
Yes, it is. It cash flows nicely to help fund our film. We're going to have a live auction on Saturday in between Billy Mata and Jason Roberts to help raise a little funding more for the film. We're in the expensive phase of licensing and still need funding for that. So by the way, this whole thing, the festival and the film, is being put on by a nonprofit entity. I started the Cowtown Birthplace of Western Swing nonprofit. And so those that donate, it's for a good cause. It's a tax write-off, and we appreciate everyone's support.
So when you look back to when this festival was started, what have you learned since that first festival that has helped this thing evolve?
Good question. I think I've learned maybe not to put too many things into it. I think that for the first 2 years, I almost had too many elements. People didn't have a chance to breathe. I had so much going on. So I've toned it back a little bit. I've also dropped one on each side in the back corners of the hall. I've dropped one whole table of 20 people to give a little more room inside the hall, make it more comfortable for folks. And instead, I put some chairs around the perimeter on the walls. And so while we'll have still the same amount of people, it'll be roomier, especially in those back corner sections of the hall. And we've got a fabulous sound guy in old Bill Johnson. Steve's partnered with him with his upcoming Clarksville Creative show series at National Hall, and put in a fabulous new sound system. It should be state of the art next week there at National Hall.
One of the things that you got to know about anytime you're featuring Western swing music, and this would be a good song title, Brent, "Don't Block the Dance Floor."
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, we had that first year we had I think Hayden Redmond or was it Hayden that fashioned that big boot that we put in the middle of the dance floor, and everybody real quickly said, "Get that thing off the dance floor."
Yes.
Because from the moment, and I say this all the time, from the moment the first note rings out on Thursday afternoon till the moment the last note hits on Friday night or Saturday night, people are on that dance floor and it's full.
Right. If you can go back to that photo, Brent, that was just up, those letters you see in the front of the image are Cowtown. Those Cowtown letters were constructed by our great board director, Paul Gonzalez. And those letters just shimmer off that solid oak dance floor. And that's the stage at National Hall. Very simple, but elegant. Almost has a feel of a Cain's ballroom, I like to call it. And the folks really, really love it. And
now, as we've chronicled quite a bit, a brand new lighting system to go along with that as well.
Yeah.
System.
Yes, that's going to be great. We owe a lot of gratitude to Steve Markwardt, Kurt Ryle and Clarksville Creative for putting in this new sound and lighting system. It's going to be, I just can't wait to see it.
So Steve, I know you've been in all the preparations for all this for all the time. Have you had a chance to grab a guitar and get out there and give this thing a test run yet?
No. We've been waiting for our state-of-the-art mixer to come in. And we had a few stray pieces that were late in coming in because of manufacturing delays or whatever you want to call it. But I think it's all in now. And so we'll get a chance to test that sound system out because we're doing some rehearsals early next week. I think Tuesday and Wednesday we're going to be rehearsing in the hall there. So we'll be the first ones to kind of get a chance to try that thing out. Of course, when you got an empty hall, the dynamics are a lot different because every person is an acoustic panel. So the sound is a lot different from an empty hall to a full hall. So, but Bill can compensate for that. But the cool thing about the sound system is it'll be a lot more efficient from us, because as Mike can tell you, it's a flurry of activity, to put it lightly, when you got 12, 13 bands coming in and out, and you got about 30 minutes max from one band to the next to fire back up. And every band has its own set of issues, own set of musicians that like things a certain way. And so this sound system's got the ability to lock in a sound profile for each band. And so all Bill has to do is push a few buttons and the next band can be up and running. And so he's assured me that that's going to be the case. And I think it'll make things a lot more efficient and enable us to get bands in and out quicker and therefore provide just that much more music. Musicians with issues, you don't say. Musicians with issues. Yeah. They've got more issues than Sports Illustrated, right? But anyway, so we're excited about that, and the lighting system's really cool. And so it's going to be a whole new experience, I think, for those that have experienced anything at National Hall before. I know that John Durham, the manager of the hall, had a group in there. I believe it was Latin Express, and I think they plugged into the sound system even without the mixer, and we're just blown away by how good it sounds because that system was designed specifically for that hall. So I can't wait when Bill's at the helm running the boards. It's going to be fantastic. Yes. Well, that's one of the issues we always have from a performance standpoint is, and it's so important for musicians, they'll tell you, and vocalists, is to have good monitoring up on stage where you can hear yourself and you can hear what's going on with the other musicians and vocalists, so you can balance it out. And if you can't hear yourself and you can't hear the others, then chances are things are going to be out of balance, and that's going to come across in the performance. So we've one of the things we put the emphasis on is really good state-of-the-art monitoring up there. Exciting stuff.
Brent, I sent you some links to some testimonial videos. I don't know if you've got that queued up or not, but that might give our viewing and listening audience an idea of some experiences these folks have had at attending our festival. If you want to,
I know there's one video Brent's got queued up always.
I was going to put that one on ice today, unless somebody twisted my arm.
Kurt Ryle in his wig.
That's always at the ready, but
yeah, those testimonial videos are really cool.
Yes, I've actually got them all queued up here, and one that I'll share is one of the MCs for this event, Mr. Billy Bowles, who I know is on here. I see him commenting on some stuff, and this was a couple of years ago that he weighed in on it. We'll share this now.
This 3 days has been nothing short of amazing. I'm watching people get out and enjoy freedom again, enjoy life again, have fun and dance and mingle with old friends, meet new friends, but more importantly, people that haven't seen each other in a way too long. A lot of hugging and shaking hands and catching up in memories, and that's what it's about. Western swing brings people together. It's a music that was designed to bring people together, to get them out on the dance floor dancing. And the documentary that Mike Markwardt put together proved that. I mean, they took it step by step through the history of Western swing. And I'm blown away by the 75 minutes I've seen. And they need more money to finish this event. So anybody that loves Western swing music or the preservation of traditional music in Texas needs to donate to this cause and finish this project, because it is long overdue.
There's another one. You mentioned Billy Mata earlier, and he weighed in. I'm going to share this one with everybody now.
Hi, I'm Billy Mata. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. I lead the Western swing band Billy Mata and the Texas Tradition. Western swing music was kind of introduced to me at an early age, although I didn't adopt it until later on in my career, but I'm so glad I did. My father was influenced by Bob Wills because my father, who came from Mexico originally, loved Bob Wills music because Bob incorporated not only the fiddles and steel guitar, the string section, but he did with horns as well. And you know, Mexican music has a lot of horn work, and Bob incorporated a lot of that Mexican polka beat like San Antonio Rose and Spanish two-step, things like that. So I think it was instilled in me in a young age. And when I started my own group in 1980, I'd started playing in 75 while I was in high school. But in 1980, I formed my own group, and we were kind of forced to have to do some of the top 40 music of the time to get in the dance halls. And I just kind of thought to myself, you know, it's time to make my own path. And so I chose Western swing as my number one deal, because it's a lot of fun to play. There's never a dull moment with any kind of Western swing song, whether it's blues, jazz, swingy, hoedowns, you know, it all incorporates in the same. So it's just so much fun to play, and I can't go, you can't play in Texas or Oklahoma or in the Southwest anywhere without doing something of Bob Wills music. And I did a tribute album to Tommy Duncan, who was the vocalist for Bob Wills for many years, and it was a hard thing to do, a three disc CD in tribute to Tommy Duncan, but it was well worth it, because hopefully in time people will see this and say, this is a masterpiece of some sort, paying tribute to the vocalist of Bob Wills' Texas Playboys. So anyway, I am thrilled to be here for the first time for this the Birthplace of Western Swing Festival here in Fort Worth at the National Hall. What a wonderful hall, and everybody's having a good time. It's like I said, you just go out there and see the crowd, there's not a sad face in there. So thank you so much. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy Western swing music.
Hey y'all, this is Robert Houston, proud Cowtown Birthplace of Western Swing board member, an associate producer of the award-winning documentary, and band leader for the band Western Swing Rules. We're mighty happy that we're going to be a part of this year's festival. We'd like to invite you to hurry up and get your tickets for November 9th through the 11th at historic National Hall in Fort Worth. You know, in just 2 years, this event has become the Super Bowl of Western Swing events from around the world. The best acts, the best names, all your favorite artists will be there for the 3-day event. We encourage you once again to get your tickets as quickly as possible, because they are going fast. And don't forget, my little 9-piece band from Northwest Arkansas and Eastern Oklahoma will be there on Thursday from 2 until 5. So we hope you'll join us for that as well. So come on down, get your tickets. We'll see you at the festival.
That's great. That's
When it
great.
says get your tickets, remember what Mike said. It's sold out now. So now begins the fight for 2024 tickets, when Mike has to move it to AT&T Stadium because this thing is going to pack out so much. But
we got Arkies, Okies, and Texans, because we've got Robert Houston representing Arkansas, and I'm not sure who else is from Oklahoma, but I know our very own Kurt Ryle grew up in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. So there's your Okie.
There you go. Yeah, it's really gratifying what we've built in a short time, and taking nothing away from these other festivals. These other festivals that are held across the Southwest are also tremendous. The granddaddy of them all is obviously the Bob Wills Day week of festivities in Turkey, Texas. That is if no one's ever been there, they need to go to that. That's a great deal. But if you can eventually get tickets to the Cowtown Birthplace of Western Swing, I think it will open your eyes to a wonderful weekend of celebration of and the history of the music. So
one of the videos that you sent me here, I'd like to share with folks here. This was from when kind of the genesis of all this. You guys went on Good Morning Texas with Jake Hooker, and we haven't played any music on here.
He brought Fort Worth to downtown Dallas, and you'll hear the song that he chose to sing. We rubbed it right in the noses of the folks of Dallas, good old Cowtown. So it was great.
I'm going to share this one with everybody. It's got a little bit of everything in it here. So here we go.
That was fun. All right, just a swingin'. Coming up next, Jake Hooker and the Outsiders and Western Swing Dancers help us kick off our new Friday feature. It's a GMT dance party. Don't two-step away. GMT returns in just 2 minutes. We're going to continue our dance party, maybe less MC Hammer and more Western. We thought we'd kick off our new Friday feature and the weekend with a little Western swing. Please welcome to the GMT stage, Jake Hooker and the Outsiders.
Well, I've got a foreign palace just 30 miles from Dallas, on the land that gave me my birth. Well, in my estimation, there's one destination. Well, that's my hometown, Fort Worth. Now, what's Fort Worth, boy? What's Fort Worth? Hey, it's the best city on Texas earth. What's Fort Worth, boy? What's Fort Worth? Well, it's worth the world to me. Well, if you want some loving and you're looking for some hugging from the fairest of fair sexes, hello, folks. Well, I think you're sure to find just what you got in mind, waiting down in Fort Worth, Texas. Now, what's Fort Worth, boy? What's Fort Worth? Hey, it's the best city on Texas earth. What's Fort Worth, boy? What's Fort Worth? Well, it's worth the world to me. Oh, now. Now, if you want some fun, there's just one place to come where you will find most everything. Well, there's a Western atmosphere that reaches far and near, and every club has that good old Western swing. Now, what's Fort Worth, boy? What's Fort Worth? Hey, it's the best city on Texas earth. What's Fort Worth, boy? What's Fort Worth? Well, it's worth the world to me. Yes, sir.
You look like you're having too much fun. I had to come in and join you. Great job, everybody. We're going to take center stage here. You guys can come and join me also as you're catching your breath, because that looked like such a workout. I'm being joined with Western swing expert. This is Mike Markwardt. How are you?
Thank you so much for having us on
dancing
today.
With me.
You're a great dancer.
You guys love the stage. You can come and join me. I want everybody to see your amazing outfits too. Yeah, come. Come on over. Y'all look too nice to be off stage. Come join me. Like, Alana, we're done dancing. Okay. quite the workout on a 9 a.m. kicking off our GMT Friday dance parties. So let's talk about the history here, because I learned that Fort Worth is the birthplace of Western swing.
That is correct,
Alana.
Alana.
I just learned that.
It all started in 1930 when Bob Wills met Milton Brown and they formed the Light Crust Doughboys. And they fused this wonderful fusion of frontier fiddle, jazz, and blues. And it has lived on now for 90 years. Next year marks the 90th anniversary.
That's incredible. Now, when did you get started?
I got started as a junior high school. I went to see Bob Wills at the old Panther Hall in Fort Worth.
Oh,
and
wow.
I just immersed myself into it about 3 years ago when I retired, and we're starting a festival next year to celebrate it. So.
Okay, and we'll give you those details in just a minute. How would you say Western swing has influenced modern-day artists?
Well, huge influence, particularly honky-tonk and country. Without Western swing's steel guitar and the twin fiddles, we might not have ever had a Hank Williams. You know, if you really think about it, honky-tonk got a lot of its sound from Western swing. And even rock and roll. Chuck Berry's Maybelline came from Bob Wills' Ida Red, which is amazing. And Bob was himself one of a handful of people to make it into the Country Music Hall of Fame and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is pretty amazing.
Chock full of knowledge here. And you mentioned a festival. Tell me more about that.
Our festival next year, again, marks the 90th anniversary of the birth of Western Swing in Fort Worth. We're going to have it at Historic National Hall in Northwest Fort Worth, and it's going to be a great 3-day festival. We hope everyone will go to our website, birthplaceofwesternswing.com, to buy tickets. And it's going to be a great, great celebration.
Okay, a little taste of what you can expect right here on Good Morning Texas. Thank you, everybody. You look amazing. You look amazing.
I might mention that Jake Hooker will be at the festival.
Good to know. Good to know. All the good music also. Save that date now for 2020. Cowtown Birthplace of Western Swing Festival at, let's see, it's National Hall in Fort Worth. All the information that you need to know, though, if you missed something here, is actually give us that website.
It's birthplaceofwesternswing.com.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Go dance for 4 minutes and then immediately afterwards do a TV interview. That's great.
I was a little bit winded, you could tell.
That's a tall order.
I'm amazed at how good Jake sounded. You know, and he had a kind of a stripped down version of his band, I think, or maybe not. But those guys are so good. One of my favorite steel guitar players, a guy I love to watch, is old Tommy Dedamore. I mean, he's like a mad scientist over there, and he's just amazing. But Jake's a lot of fun, and you don't see too many vocalists playing stand-up bass.
That's right. That's right. Well, I had to get those musicians up. They stayed at the hotel in Dallas the night before, and I had to get them up at 7 a.m. sharp to make it over to the WFAA studio for that outdoor filming. And while it was only filmed at 9 o'clock in the morning, it felt like it was 100 degrees outside. It was filmed in the middle of July, so it was really hot, but Jake and his band did a great job.
Since this is Fort Worth musical moments, Fort Worth being the emphasis, I get a kick out of that, you staging that in downtown Dallas. And the song was "What's Fort Worth For?" and it was all about Fort Worth. I think Amon Carter, who's kind of the father of Fort Worth, would have been very, very proud. You know, they say, Brent, that Amon Carter, of course, Amon Carter was instrumental in nothing happened in Fort Worth of any magnitude without Amon Carter's stamp on it. He was the publisher, founder of Fort Worth Star Telegram. He was close personal friends with FDR and, presidents before and after that. But Amon, they say Amon, when he would have to go to Dallas on business, begrudgingly, he would take a sack lunch because he did not want to spend one dime in Dallas.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, and the rivalry lives on.
It does. But it's all one big city now. So.
Right. Well, this week anyway.
Yeah.
With the big Rangers win, I think everybody's on the same page now. At least.
Just remember that Globe Life Field, the home of the Rangers, is in Tarrant County. Just remember that. That's in Tarrant County's Fort Worth's the seat of Tarrant County. So just remember.
That's right. Absolutely. So, Mike, as you are staring at things here on Friday, everything's going to kick off next Thursday. What's left on your to-do list here? What's taking up your time these days?
Oh gosh, just still amazingly working on the film from the licensing point of view. I've got a music supervisor and a film clip supervisor helping me on that, and we hope to get her wrapped up by year end and be ready for distribution. And then, of course, the festival planning will start in January, or actually late December, and we'll try to make an announcement for next year's lineup towards the middle part of February, and tickets will go on sale April 1st for another big blowout at National Hall, the 4th annual coming up next year.
They're coming quick, aren't they?
Yes, yes.
Well, you mentioned
Tommy Snyder, the CEO of the emerging American Country Network, which is set to launch, by the end of first quarter of next year. He's making a special trip to Fort Worth. To cheer on yours truly and our band, and just to get a taste of what your festival's all about. He's very intrigued and loves Western swing and traditional country, and the network's going to put an emphasis on that ongoing. But he's also wants to see the film as well, because that film, I think, will be perfect when the timing is right to air on that network.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about the film. We brought it up a number of times here, just thinking that there may be some folks on here who have not seen any bit of it before. We've got a clip here, and I want to pull this up here, and we'll share this, about a 3-minute clip where you can kind of get a sense of what this film is all about.
Nothing made Bob madder than if you'd call his music hillbilly music.
Because Western swing is jazz.
It gave rise to rockabilly and to rock and roll.
It gets inside your soul, your heart.
It brings tears to many people's eyes when they hear it.
Most exciting time in my life to find Western swing music.
They might not know exactly what they're hearing, but they know they like it.
Its intention was to make people feel like dancing. If the people in the clubs weren't dancing, that means they didn't like you.
Western swing defies categorization, but we know what it isn't. It most emphatically is not country music, but it has always impacted country music. It isn't quite jazz either, but it swings and improvises just as well as the famous big bands of the 1930s and 40s. So what is Western swing? Western swing is like America itself, because you hear America in Western swing. It was like a giant melting pot, a gumbo of cultures, ethnicities, styles, and rhythms working together to be stronger, indomitable, and mostly infectious. From its very beginning, Western swing was like a ravenous animal, devouring everything in its path. It absorbed anything and everything with a joyful exuberance that thrilled the musicians as much as the audience. If you close your eyes and listen closely, you can hear the old reels and jigs of American frontier fiddles, the improvisation of New Orleans jazz and Dixieland, the soulful blues of the South, the oom-pa-pa beat of a bohemian polka band, the sweet violins of Bavarian waltzes, the fat sounds of big band swing, and the accordion, horns, and guitars of Mexican mariachi. There's an unbridled freedom when music has no rules, and Western swing broke all of them. Western swing is free. It's composed from the heart and on the spot by musicians on their instruments. The birth of this joyous music developed at a time when America was in the depths of the Great Depression. And at the time, innovators like Bob Wills and Milton Brown didn't realize they were inventing a whole new genre of American music. They were just trying to provide their audience with an escape, if only for hours, from the harsh realities of daily life. They would use any instrument, sound, beat, rhythm, create or steal any hot lick from anyone or from any genre to create this exciting new sound. They were trying to lift the people's spirits, but mostly they were trying to make people dance. And dance they did. This is the story of the birth and history of Western swing.
And we we have to make mention of the fact that Mike and Steve are going to be joining Billy Bowles tomorrow on Billy Bowles Swinging Country. They're going to feature some of the music from the performers that are going to be performing at the upcoming festival here. So tune in for that. That will be on KSSLFM.com tomorrow morning. If you're not already, get plugged into the Billy Bowles Swinging Country Facebook group there, and you can get all the details for that. So make sure you join him for that.
Yeah, we're excited to have a kind of a double barrel promotion of the festival with your show, Brent, Steve, the Fort Worth Musical Moments, and then tomorrow the great Billy Bowles and Swinging Country.
And I believe that's 10 a.m. Central Time tomorrow for that. So make sure you tune into that. Again, KSSLFM.com. You can go check that out in real time. Also, if you miss it there, you can catch it on Rural Strong Radio, which is our 24/7 streaming radio station found at ruralstrongmedia.com or the Live 365 streaming radio app. That will air on Sunday at noon Central, and you can catch it there. You can also catch it at 7 p.m. Central next Tuesday. So right before the festival starts, you can catch Billy Bowles Swinging Country on the replay on Rural Strong Radio. So a number of opportunities to catch Billy Bowles Swinging Country. So make sure you check out one of those airings, because he's going to bring a lot of great music there.
Excellent.
Brent, I'm so glad that you're coming too to take you in the festivities and to be one of the MCs on Thursday night. And who knows what else we might get into with all the special people coming and going there. We're going to have a videographer there, so we'll probably get interviews with all kinds of people. And so we're looking forward to that. That'll be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I mean, above everything else, I'm a fan. So to get to take all this stuff in is just going to be phenomenal. I'm really looking forward to it.
Can you dance?
No.
We're going to get a good old bow-legged country gal to get you out on the dance floor, Brett.
It's not like old Billy Bowles there I saw in the background of that last video. He can cut a rug. I don't have those moves. So full disclosure.
My brother Mike can cut a rug, that's for sure.
Yeah, Billy and I have kind of a contest going on to see who can outdance who. It's quite a competition.
And Mike, you tried soaking him with Lone Star, but it just made him that much of a better dancer.
Yeah, I thought that would slow him down, and damned if it didn't improve his technique.
It made him more fearless.
That's like spinach to Popeye there. So
spinach to Popeye.
Yes. Billy Bowles, Mr. Lone Star. I love that guy.
Yeah, Billy does maybe more than anybody as far as preserving, and he's kind of the gatekeeper of what is real country music and Western swing and what is not. And he's got he's a great gatekeeper on that, and that show has done more to promote our kind of music.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all of our board of advisors to the Cowtown Birthplace of Western Swing. Gosh, Billy Bowles, Paula Youngman, the great Paul Gonzalez. He has done so much. Christy Curtis. There's a bunch to list. Mark Young, Dan and Bobby Jensen. Gosh, there's so many. Ruth Stuckey have done just a tremendous job and have helped plan and execute this annual event. And I thank them from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, there's so many names there that we gloss over, but this couldn't happen without them. Certainly, everybody's out there tirelessly doing their own thing year round to promote this thing. I know Paul Gonzalez is tireless. He'll drive 1,000 miles to catch some Western swing music and to help spread the word about this cause. And so we're very great. In fact, I'm having lunch with Ruth Stuckey today, as a matter of fact. So.
By the way, we lost one of our big board advisors, and old Al Dressen passed away about 6 months ago. And we're going to do a special honoring of him on the opening night of the festival. Steve, I think halfway through your performance, we're going to invite Al's son and daughter on stage to present a Lifetime Achievement Award on behalf of their father.
Yeah, we miss Al. He's a great guy. I'm
Yes.
honored to have gotten to know him.
So for anybody who is holding a ticket in their hand right now for next week, what do they need to know before they show up as we wrap up our time here this morning? Hello?
Yeah. You froze up for a second.
Well, let me start that over again. I was asking, as we wrap up our time here today, for anybody holding a ticket, what do they need to know before they show up for the festival this week?
Just don't plan on bringing cooler. You can't bring a cooler inside or a Yeti cup inside. Like I said, all the costs of food and drink are very reasonable. But one of the house rules at National Hall, I have no control over that, but one of the house rules is you have to, purchase your food and drink from the hall. That's how they make their money. And the upkeep of this hall is fabulous. It's in such good shape, and they need that funding to keep it in tip-top shape. And I would say, bring your comfortable dancing boots on, 3 solid days, over 30 hours of live music. It's a marathon, but these fans will dance from the start to the end. They amaze me. And try to go to the Stockyards tour on Friday morning. That's a fun-filled 4-hour event. For those that don't have tickets, we still have room. I think we've got like 30 to 40 seats left on the 4 buses that take us into the Stockyards. So that'll be fun. And we can't wait to see everybody twirling on that National Hall dance floor next Thursday.
It's going to be exciting indeed, and we will obviously be posting stuff on social media as we go. So make sure you're following this Fort Worth Musical Moments Facebook group, and also the Real Strong Media Facebook page. We'll be throwing content up there, probably get a hold of some of the artists and some of the attendees, and just kind of give you the flavor of what's going on there at National Hall in Fort Worth. And Mike, I want to thank you so much for taking this time here, and we look forward to convening with you in Fort Worth here.
Thank you very much. Look forward to it.
I also want to add, for those of y'all that are coming, if you happen to be looking for an additional hotel room, there are maybe a few rooms available. Most of those hotels, the ones that have been there a while, are pretty much full, but there's a brand new hotel that's kind of under the radar called Studio 6, which I believe they still have a room or 2 left. So
I thought you were going to say Shay Markwardt.
No, we're full up. I promise you.
Well, all right then. So it's going to be a great time. Just a programming note here. Because of the festival, we are not going to have a Fort Worth Musical Moments next week. We'll probably jump on at some point during the festival and go live just to touch base with everybody. And then the following week, I'm actually leaving from there to go to Kansas City for the National Association of Farm Broadcasting National Convention. So we won't have a show that following week either, because I'll be there at the convention for that. So it's going to be a busy 2 weeks here, but after that, we'll get back here. Then I think we start to run into Thanksgiving. So maybe a little spotty here around the holidays. So stay tuned for that, but we'll definitely get some shows in. And this is one of the highlights of the week, is getting to touch base with everybody and sit down and share all this stuff, Steve.
Absolutely. I want to mention something too, a little early promotion. We just got word yesterday that one of our artists, Evie May, Clarksville Creative Sound artist Evie May, who's just got a fantastic new album out, just released her first song off that album officially, called Knee Deep in the Water. Boy, what a powerhouse she is. You talk about star quality. Anyway, she is going to be. She got the nod that she's going to be appearing on the Penny Gilley show. So Penny and Mike reached out to me, and I reached out to her and her family, and they're thrilled to death that she's going to be. So she's coming to Fort Worth on Monday. Monday will be the taping of the show. So I thought, why not parlay that into a concert? So Saturday prior to that, on the 3rd, February 3rd, will be our first in a series of concerts at National Hall featuring Evie May. We'll have Braden Ryle come in, of course, Kurt Ryle, and we'll have the A-list band in some iteration fired up. And so it'll be a night of music, and we'll have more details about that event later. But
what's the date on that, Steve?
February the 3rd, Saturday night. So we're going to pull out all the stops and have a grand old time. We want to make National Hall kind of a destination for live music. I'm a little too old to be playing the honky tonk circuit, so this hall's a lot friendlier for that kind of thing. And of course, the ample parking there, and we want to pack the house. And we're going to be bringing in some real firepower with these young artists who are doing so much to help further the cause on this traditional country music.
Absolutely. A lot going on here, as we say every week, and it's just going to ramp up as we get into 2024 because there are a lot of great plans on the horizon. So make sure you get plugged in, as we always say, to the Fort Worth Musical Moments Facebook group, the Clarksville Creative Sound Facebook group, and the Rural Strong Media Facebook page so you don't miss a minute of the action. Also invite you, as we mentioned earlier, to join us on Rural Strong Radio, which is our 24/7 streaming radio station found at ruralstrongmedia.com, or the Live 365 streaming radio app for your mobile device. You can go onto your Google Play Store, your iTunes Store, whatever they call it these days, Apple Music. Go download that Live 365 app and search for Rural Strong Radio. There you'll find 24/7 streaming of traditional country music, Western swing, a little bluegrass, Southern rock, and inspirational music. We throw some agriculture programming on there as well, a little bit of trucking industry program as well. But for the most part, you're hearing the legends of country and Western swing, and also a lot of the great independent artists who keeping their spirit alive. So make sure you go check that out. Rural Strong Radio at ruralstrongmedia.com or the Live 365 streaming radio app. Well, big thank you to everybody who joined us today. So many great people on there. A lot of great interaction in the comment section as usual. So make sure you keep that up, and we will be back again later with another Fort Worth Musical Moments. Guys, have a great weekend. We look forward to seeing you at National Hall next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Brent.
Thank you.
You've been watching Fort Worth Musical Moments, a production of Rural Strong Media and Clarksville Creative Sound, copyright 2023. Please join the Fort Worth Musical Moments Facebook group and join us each Friday at 10 a.m. Central as we introduce you to another key figure in Fort Worth's musical heritage.